We're out with our annual update on Americans' confidence in institutions. We'll have a lot about that here at Gallup.com, but let me hit a few high points for you. First of all, only 3 of the 16 institutions that we tested have 50% or higher confidence in terms of the percent of Americans who have a great deal or quite a lot of confidence in the institutions. As has been the case for a number of years now, the military is at the top of the list. Americans have more confidence in the military than any other institution we tested. 76% of Americans with a positive rating of the military in terms of their confidence. Second comes small business. I'll come back to that in a minute, with 65% confidence. And third comes the police with 57% confidence. So those are your top 3, and again, the only ones with majority confidence as we measure it. What's at the bottom of the list? Well, it's fitting that I'm standing here in Washington, D.C. because it is Congress. 10% of Americans have a great deal or quite a lot of confidence in Congress, and that's just terrible. Very bottom of the list. In fact, this year, that is the lowest confidence in Congress we have ever measured by a point. It's been very low. Now, confidence in Congress has never been extremely high, but let's look back in history a little. There were times when it was certainly better than 10%. Go back to 1973, for example, when it was 42%. That was when Watergate was going on with President Richard Nixon. Go back to the Ronald Reagan years. Confidence was at 41% back in 1986. And as recently as 2004, 30% of Americans had a great deal or quite a lot of confidence in Congress. But the 10% now, again, as low as we have seen it, and that puts Congress at the very bottom of the list. Some other interesting facts: banks, confidence in banks up by a few points this year from where it has been. So that's good news for banks. 26% now have a great deal or quite a lot of confidence in banks. Another issue that I mentioned earlier was small versus big business, and I like to call this to your attention. You'll remember I said that small business, that adjective small, was second on the list. Well, what difference does that one word big make? Well, look there. Big business has 22% confidence. Small business, as I told you before, 65% confidence. So that one adjective, big versus small, makes a huge difference in how Americans view business, which is a quite interesting phenomenon. Finally, I'd point out about the news media. Not good. Newspapers, television news, both at 23% confidence. Those aren't the very lowest, but among the lowest we have seen. So not only does Congress have low job approval rating, but the media that cover Congress and other news also very low ratings on the part of the American public. Again, we're going to have more depth on these annual ratings of institutions in America here at Gallup.com in the days ahead, but we look now at the high points. And the bottom line is, which is interesting in and of itself, Americans have the most confidence in the military and the least confidence in Congress at this point in time. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Gallup Editor-in-Chief.